I don't think most normal people have questions around how fast is it going to turn to 60. You know, what's the top speed limit of this vehicle? You know,
Yeah.
it's like, does it ride comfortably? Is it reasonably quiet inside the cabin? What's the fuel economy like? You know, I guess that's a figure we can measure. I think people care about stuff like that. I mean, the world moves on. I mean, we're kind of getting to that fuel economy stage with devices and PCs when you think about ARM platform and Windows RT, and battery life, which is sort of like fuel economy. I mean, these are the things people care about. The reason these new Surface devices are so much better than the old ones, in part, is because of battery life. Apple's devices all get killer battery life. That's a big thing. That's a big thing with these devices. They get great battery life, and that was always
And that's
an
a huge
issue.
selling point.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have the fastest, tablet on the market, but if you're getting 2 hours of battery life,
Oh yeah,
what
that was
good
the
is
thing I
it?
used to say, and vice versa. I mean, so where performance is usually not a problem, one of the areas where performance was a problem was with the first version of Surface RT, and I kept telling people, it doesn't matter if this thing gets 8 hours of battery life if you can't get anything done on it, and ditto for people that want to contort an iPad to have it be like a PC laptop where they're running productivity software and they get a keyboard and stuff. It's like you could do that, and it does get great battery life, but that productivity experience is just not, what you would expect or want from an actual PC laptop.
Yeah.
So there are trade-offs in both directions.
Fascinating. I want to continue this discussion, of course, but we need to take a little break and talk about our sponsor, and that's, if I can get it, there we go. There we go. And it's Shutterstock. Shutterstock.com is a website with over 28 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, and video clips. So if you are working on a creative project like a website, a portfolio, something for your job, or you need to put together a demo, this is a site for you, and they have a great offer for you guys. 25% off a new account at Shutterstock.com when you use offer code WhatTheTech1013. That's WhatTheTech1013. I have a lot of friends that do websites. I have a lot of friends that have to create some sort of presentation for their job, and I've convinced them to go to Shutterstock. One of my closest friend, Josh Coleman, that does web design, uses Shutterstock all the time for stock photos for his website because they always have something to pick from. And if they don't, guess what? They're adding 20,000 images every single day. So go back, take a look, see what you get. The subscription, when you sign up, you can get up to 25 downloads per day with a standard subscription. Also, you can download any image in any size, and you only pay once. So if you need a 640 by 480 image and a 1400 by 1400 image, guess what? They have it, and it doesn't count twice. It only counts once. Really cool stuff. I really like the service. I use it. My wife has used it. We use it here at the GFQ Network. That's Shutterstock.com. Offer code WhatTheTech1013. And you got 25% off a new account. I want to thank Shutterstock for and of course, supporting the GFQ network. Paul, it is your birthday. A lot is going on. We're talking about things that you're getting. Does your wife have a difficult time buying you something? Like, would she go out and buy you a gadget?
No.
She doesn't even try.
I had this conversation with my wife years ago. I told her that there were two things she must never buy for me without, consulting with me first. One is a car. Not that my wife would like go buy a car, but I mean, I'm like, don't ever like. She might hear me talking about cars and say, like, he really likes this, And
Paul, I bought you a '98 Mazda MPV.
Yeah. No. Like, in other words, I know, Paul, that you like classic Volkswagens.
Yeah.
So I went and bought you a 1972 Super Beetle. So
Yeah.
I would not be happy with that. The other one is gadgets, and she wouldn't. I mean, there's no way.
I had the same rule. Mine is like computer stuff, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's shoes.
Shoes.
I like really gaudy, pointy Italian shoes. Like, I want them to curl up in the front, like the Iron Sheik. Like.
Right.
So my wife doesn't buy me shoes. So that's one of the things. But I mean, there's a lot happening. I wanted to ask you this question. People made a big fuss over the pre-order issue with this next iPad.
Yep.
And I was kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised, and I'm not surprised at the same time, because there's no consistency with this company anymore. I don't think Apple's a consistent company when it comes to predicting how they're going to unveil something and when they're going to do it and what they're going to price it at. It's a total free-for-all now at this point, because we were used to the Steve Jobs format of things.
Well, I mean, I think I know where you're going with this. One thing I would just remind everyone is, when the first iPad was announced, they didn't ship it for months. In fact, it ended up shipping later than they wanted, and not in quite the way they wanted. It took longer to roll it out. Like, I don't remember the exact details. Like the white one, remember they're going to have a black and white the first year, but they didn't really. And they finally did it for iPad 2. I remember writing at the time that they really screwed it up by announcing it so early, but then not releasing it. And I think they did it because they didn't want to get it into the FCC channels so people would see what's happening.
That was the reason. You're right. Yeah.
And that they were going to screw up the process. That people would have buyer's remorse and realize they were spending $600 or $800, whatever it was, on something they didn't really need, and then 30 days in would be like, oh, I don't want this thing. Yeah, I'm not going to do this. Whereas, if you announce something and people get all excited and then they knee-jerk buy it that first weekend,
well,
they're all set.
I do think that's a problem, because I'm one of those people that buys these things based on reaction, right? I mean, now, like, I'm going to